because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
Pam Bondi is on busy defending Donald Trump in front of the Congress when she should be defending the victims of the Epstein files. And we've heard a lot about American values, but what are they? I'll tell you all today. Don't go anywhere.
Now it's showtime.
Hello, it is the Karel Show, and I am Karel, and I probably should not be here with you today, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. I may not be here tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll be here next week. Today's show was going to be partly about American values. We hear a lot about American values as Donald Trump takes down the pride flag from the very Stonewall Monument that it was meant to commemorate, because it's part of Project 2025, and because he doesn't think that a pride flag is American values. I say, if you don't celebrate and defend gay Americans, get out of the country. So we were going to talk about American values today and how MAGA gets it completely and totally wrong. But one American value is family, is it not? We hear a lot about family. We have a congressperson going before Congress saying he wants to investigate the Bad Bunny halftime show for all of its gayness and this and that because of family values. We hear a lot about family. Well, today I am embroiled with family. This morning I was waiting till 7:30 to take Ember over to get her lab work. So I was trying to stay in bed. At 5:30 I get a call from Tim Mason, my sister's roommate. And I thought that was odd, so I picked up the call. Last night, at midnight, the dogs were barking around my sister in the living room of her house, and so Tim went out to see what was up, because she sleeps in the living room in a chair, and she was just staring off into space. She was having a seizure, and Tim didn't know what to do. He called 911, and because they live in Cottonwood, Arizona, it took 911 17 minutes to get to her as she just stared off into space, having a seizure. They loaded her up and took her to Valley Verde Hospital, where she had another seizure. They put her in the CT scanner and immediately called for life alert and had her airlifted from Cottonwood to the Banning Thunderbird Hospital in Phoenix, Arizona. They determined in Cottonwood that she had a meningioma, a brain tumor, and that it was pushing on something and causing the seizures. However, as I know and my neurologist knows, and they should have known, a brain bleed also shows up like a meningioma on a CT. They need an MRI to confirm. At 6 o'clock this morning, I started calling the hospital to find out status. By noon, they still had not gotten her down to the MRI. She is intubated. She cannot speak. They say she is in and out of consciousness. So by noon, her being there now 8 hours, having been airlifted, and no MRI, no neurologist, no neurosurgeon, I fucking flipped out. Because you know me. You know I've been through this with my parents, with a generation of persons with AIDS, with Andrew, and you know that I fought a malpractice lawsuit. So I got to see all the dirt from a hospital. And there's a lot. So I called the chief of staff of the hospital and said, why has she been in your hospital 8 hours and not had an MRI? What is going on? Is this the standard of care? Because we can transfer her. If she were Beyonce or Gaga, she would have already been in the MRI and spoken to a neurologist. So at 1 o'clock, the Dr. Johnson, the ICU doctor, calls me, and he's got an attitude. Well, what's wrong? Why do you think she's getting substandard care? Well, because you have an MRI at her brain, and because a CT can mistake a brain bleed for a meningoma, because she had a scan last year and they didn't see any tumor, so this would be new and would have formed in a year. And while that is possible, a brain bleed is more likely, which means she's been sitting there bleeding for 8 hours. Well, you don't know that. Well, neither do you. Well, we don't do MRIs in the middle of the night. It's 1:30 in the fucking afternoon, dude. Healthcare in America. Family. Family values.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know.
So this morning, while I was taking Ember to the vet to have her labs drawn and worrying about her, I suddenly was on the phone with the intensive care unit at Banning Thunderbird Hospital in Arizona about my sister. And yes, I called the chief of staff. And yes, that pissed off the head of the ICU, Dr. Johnson. But this is my sister, the only one I have. And she is intubated. And they have not told us if it's a brain tumor or a brain bleed. And I lost it. I told the doctor, what would you do if it was your sister? He got quiet. When he said we don't do MRIs in the middle of the night, and I said it's 1:30 in the afternoon, it's only the middle of the night in China or Australia, he also got quiet. When he tried to tell me that CTs are 99% accurate to pick up brain bleeds versus meningiomas, I said the CT might be, but what about the person reading the CT at 2 o'clock in the morning at a small town in Arizona? He got quiet. So
David Etheridge.
I thought about family values. You know, to the hospital, my sister is just the person in bed, whatever. To me, she's my family. And I don't care who I piss off to get her the proper care that she needs. Because in America, in our country, we value family above all else. And it's what drives our politics. It's what drives almost everything we do. Healthcare is a huge issue in this country. And when you need it, and yes, we have some of the best, but accessing it. And once you get there, getting them to do their job properly. They're overworked. They're underpaid, many of them, the nurses and the other staffers, not the doctors. And they see so many patients now that things fall through the cracks. And I am Shirley MacLaine. I am that person outside the room. You give my daughter her shot. That's me. And I don't care if it pisses off nurses. I don't care if I just pissed off Dr. Johnson. I don't care. Take care of my sister. You know, I am emotional today, obviously. And maybe I shouldn't be here. But yesterday when I heard Donald Trump remove the pride flag from the Stonewall Monument, all I could think about was, fuck Donald Trump. MAGA is not the morals of America. MAGA has no idea what American morals and American values really are. Do you know what an American value is? The Bad Bunny show. That was an American value. That was an American celebrating his heritage with pride and love, bringing us all into the party, not excluding anybody. making everybody feel welcomed and loved and respected. That's an American value. Celebrating diversity, equity, and inclusion, the things that MAGA hates, that is an American value. Accepting gays and lesbians and trans people and supporting them and caring for them because they are American, and because in America we love all Americans and we don't judge them. That's an American value. Hatred is not an American value. Discrimination is not an American value. They're in the wrong fucking country. Donald Trump and MAGA do not belong in America because they are not in line with the values outlined in our Constitution. They are not in line with the values that are on the Statue of Liberty. They have never read the inscription on the Statue of Liberty. They have never read the inscriptions on the Jefferson Memorial, which speak about government changing to embrace its people. These people are in the wrong fucking country. They belong in Chechnya. They belong in Russia. They belong in Niger. They do not belong here, because in this country, we love each other. We respect each other. We care for each other, and that includes healthcare and housing. We give a hand up to somebody who needs it. We don't deprive them of services. We don't keep cutting services from the people that need it the most. We give them those services. We help them. That's an American value. Helping other Americans who have fallen on hard times is an American value. Welcoming immigrants. Welcoming immigrants is an American value. These are the values that are truly American and not exclusive to this country, but certainly guaranteed by our Constitution. Hatred, bigotry, discrimination, imperialism, fascism, racism. Those are not American values, Laura Ingraham. Donald Trump. Dividing people, making people hate their neighbors. That is not an American value. In America, we help our neighbors. We don't care if they're white or black or brown or green or gay or straight or trans. If our neighbor needs help, if their house is on fire, we help them put it out. In America, we value education. Science and literature are not dirty words. They are American values. It appears to me Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and all of them, Kash Patel and on down the line, Tulsi Gabbard, and every Trump voter has forgotten what fucking country they're in. They're in my country. A 63-year-old gay progressive who has every right to be here as they do. In fact, I have more of a right because I get it right and they don't. They seem to think this country is more like Russia or China or Chechnya. It's not. In this country, we care for each other and for ourselves and for the planet. We respect those with knowledge and intellect. We listen to all points of view and then come to a consensus. We don't exclude, we include. We don't discriminate, we empower. We don't censor, we allow freedom. They have no idea what this country is about. And they have no idea what it means to be an American with American values. None. They get it monumentally wrong. Every single person in America has been given rights by the very nature of their birth. They don't have to prove anything. Every immigrant has the right to dignity and respect because they are human beings. Because they are people. No one should be shot in the face, tear gassed, and kicked to the ground because they are exercising a right guaranteed to them by the very document that governs all. And if you think that's okay, you're in the wrong fucking country. If you think my Hispanic neighbors who speak Spanish only, if you think them feeling proud and represented by the Bad Bunny concert, if you think that's wrong, if you think how dare he speak just Spanish, then it's you that's the problem. It's not Bad Bunny. It's not the fact that he spoke Spanish that's the problem. It's you and your narrow fucking mind and worldview. Because in America, we welcome languages. We welcome Spanish, French, German. We welcome any language you speak. We encourage you to speak English to make your life easier, but it is not a requirement as there is no national language of the United States. Because we're a melting pot. And if you don't like that, stop telling us we're the ones that are wrong. Stop telling gays they're wrong. They're not. Stop telling trans people they're wrong. They are not. Stop telling immigrants they're wrong. They're not. Stop telling people who speak other languages they are wrong. They are not. It is you, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, Elon Musk. It is you that are in the wrong place, not us. You got off the bus at the wrong stop. You got off at America. In this country, we respect everyone, even those that don't deserve it. In this country, we give you a chance. In this country, we try to make sure that you have what you need to at least get by. We don't cut. We fund. We don't hate. We don't hit with the back of our hand. We open with the palm and say, how can I help you? What can I do for you? That's what America is. And I am so tired of them distorting it. There is nothing wrong with celebrating the pride of the LGBTQ people with a flag on Stonewall or with rainbows on sidewalks. There is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with flying a banner of Black History Month or Native American Month. There's nothing wrong with Bad Bunny speaking Spanish only at the Super Bowl. There's nothing wrong with any of that. The only thing wrong is the people interpreting it. They're wrong. They're the problem. Our values are right. Their values are wrong. They protect. Today, the Attorney General of the United States sat in the halls of Congress and defended sexual predators, including Donald Trump, while spitting on the victims. She wouldn't even turn around and apologize to the victims that she wouldn't take a meeting with. This is our Attorney General. She is supposed to be the highest form of law in the land. And all she can do is fight with legislators on behalf of her banana Republican boss. a criminal, and a sexual predator. As she was asked about Epstein, all she could do is give talking points about lies, about, oh, we've cut crime and we've got a handle on immigration. She's a liar. She should be thrown in jail. She should be fired, removed from her job. She is a disgrace to womanhood, to lawyers, and to the world. And she is certainly not someone who exemplifies American values. Because in America, we don't protect predators of young women, we incarcerate them. She needed a reminder of that. She wasn't even aware that's what we do, because her department has not gone after any of them. Who have they gone after? Today, there was a thrown-out indictment against the 9 senators who told people they don't have to follow illegal orders. They were trying to indict them. Not the people in the Epstein files, but people who said you have the right to refuse illegal orders. She's a disgrace.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Meanwhile, our hatred is spilling into Canada. Tumbler Ridge, British Columbia and Canada had their second worst shooting in history. 9 people dead, I believe. That's an American phenomenon. There weren't mass shootings in Canada before we did them here. What are American values now? If you were an alien and you landed in America right now, what would you think our values were? Greed? Avarice? Our values have become the 7 deadly sins. That's what our values have become. Think about the 7 deadly sins, according to Dante. Think about that. Because if you look at the 7 deadly sins, they now seem to be American values. Let's look them up in order. Let's say 7 deadly sins. Pride. Yep. Greed. Amen. Lust, for money or other things. Envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. America has become the land of the 7 deadly sins. We have pride. MAGA is proud of Donald Trump and what he's doing. Greed is everywhere. Corporate greed is killing us at the grocery store. Corporate greed is killing us in healthcare. Corporate greed is killing us in almost every aspect of our life, and corporate greed is destroying our planet. Lust. Not lust. The Epstein files. Lust. Rich white men abusing those that they can, young women. Lust. Envy. Donald Trump is nothing but envious. He wants what everybody else has. Gluttony. We are such a gluttonous nation that we continue to sell ourselves horrible food and then tell ourselves to be thin by taking a shot. Not by fixing our habits, not by changing our food supply, because we're gluttons. We've got to have 10,000 square foot houses when there's just 2 people. We've got to drive enormous trucks when we don't need them for our jobs. We're gluttons. Wrath, as Donald Trump goes after his political enemies. As everyone on the right is trying to silence the left with their wrath. And sloth. Look around. Look at our cities. Homeless encampments everywhere. Trash in the streets. American values are now the 7 deadly sins. So much for the Constitution. So much for life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Instead, we have pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. They're in the wrong place. We are not. We are not. I am not in the wrong place. I shouldn't have to leave to go to a country that's nicer to gays. This country, my country, should be welcoming to all. We have let Republicans and MAGA, but Republicans my whole life, pervert what they call American values. We have let millionaires with not an ounce of ethics speak to us about morality. It's a sad, sad state of affairs. It's a sad state of affairs when you have a president so petty that after an entertainment show like the halftime, he has to go and deride the American that just did the show. We have a president more consumed with taking wrath of his enemies than protecting his citizens, like the victims in the Epstein files. He could care less about protecting those women. He just wants to victimize them over and over and over again. We have a president so hateful of other cultures that he has let wonderful, kind, hardworking people be dragged and beaten and jailed for nothing. For nothing. You know, last night I was catching up on The Pit. And there was a gentleman that got in a car wreck. And he had a lot wrong with him. And he had been arguing with his wife right prior. And he looked at Noah Wyle and said, "Is this it? Is this that moment?" And Noah Wyle said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Is this the moment where I think about all the arguments I've had, all the things that I thought were so important, all the things that I fought for, and realize how stupid and ridiculous it all is as I am lying here in the ER fighting for my life? Is this that moment that I realize that most of my life has been spent around things that are so unimportant?" And Noah Wyle looked down and said, "Yep, this is that moment." This morning, I had a lot on my mind. Ember and her health, the fact that I can't leave the country, the fact that I don't have enough money to move, all of that, you know. And then I got the call about my sister, about her sitting in that chair, staring off into space, having a seizure alone, about her being in that helicopter alone from Valle Verde to Phoenix, about her being alone in that hospital room her daughter just arrived, and about the terror she must be feeling, not knowing what's going on, and how I could lose her and Ember in the course of a few days. I think Ember's going to be okay, by the way. I mean, you know, I think we're going to have to adjust her diet and maybe put her on a medicine. But America, this is that moment. This is the moment where you realize all the other noise is just noise. This is that moment. Sorry.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
So this is the moment. That's a great song, by the way. This is the moment. This is the day. That was so powerful last night on The Pit. Is this the moment? Is this the moment that I realize that most of what I care about in my life is bullshit? As I lay here fighting for my life. Yes. Yes, Noah Wiley said. This is the moment. This morning, when I got the phone call that my sister was being airlifted with a brain tumor, a meningioma, which if you're going to get a brain tumor, that's the one to get, by the way. They're removable. They're often not cancer. They can cause problems, but of all the brain tumors you can get, that's the one you want. And suddenly, all the ridiculousness of life, suddenly coming out to the show and talking about Donald Trump, thinking about Trump, thinking about Pam Bondi, thinking about all of that, it just seemed so stupid. Because it doesn't matter in the long run. What does? What really matters in the long run? The Epstein files? Trump? Pam Bondi? No. No. What really matters? You. You really matter. Me. Ember. My sister. That's what really matters. Life. The ability to live. Health. That's what really matters. All this other shit, it's just noise. Money? Money matters, but only because we've set up a society where you have to have it to live. If my sister's was Beyonce or Lady Gaga, she'd already have seen the best neurosurgeon in the world. She would already been scanned. I wouldn't be on the phone with the chief of staff screaming at the top of my lungs, get my sister to that MRI. Oil, it doesn't matter. Geopolitics, doesn't matter. This is what matters. You touch yourself. You're what matters most. The people next to you, the people across the street from you, that's what matters most. Life matters most. Trump doesn't get it. America doesn't get it anymore. America doesn't understand that we have so sadly lost our way. Social media doesn't matter. What some asshole post under your post doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's X's and O's. It's nothing. It doesn't matter. What matters? Having a friend like Steve or David that I could call this morning at 6 a.m. and say, my sister's been taken to the hospital in a helicopter with a brain tumor. Having someone that cared about that cared about me, that was there to answer the call. That's what matters. Having someone there to answer the call. That's what government is supposed to be. That's supposed to be Donald Trump's whole job. to be there, to answer the call when Americans need them. That's all government's supposed to be. To be there, to answer the call when the people need something.
If you're not visiting reallykarel.com daily,
Amber,
you're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes at reallykarel.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, and no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go.
I had to get my phone.
Karel is the one that you need to know.
All right, we're back. My niece, Infinity, has just gotten to my sister's room. Yeah, today is very preachy. Today is something a president should be saying. This is what a president shouldn't be dividing us. A president should be saying, you're all that matters. I don't matter. I'm just the guy you put up here to help. Donald Trump doesn't understand that he's just the guy we put up there to help. Pam Bondi doesn't realize that she doesn't matter. She's just the person we put there to help people with legal issues and to go after those who commit offenses against other Americans. She doesn't get it. The problem is they don't understand America. The problem is they can't sell it. They can't profit off it. And if they can't sell it, I sound like Michael Douglas, an American president, but if they can't sell it and they can't profit from it, then they don't care about it. You want to take down a pride flag and say you've done something important to save the values of America, then you don't know the first thing about the values of America. You want to chase poor brown people through the streets, tackle them, whip them from their families, and saying you're doing it in the name of justice, then you don't know shit about justice. America is hard. It's hard because it's about interpersonal relationships. It's about building bridges between communities where there were no bridges before. It's about defending the right of somebody to do the very thing that you hate that they're doing. I do not agree with Ben Shapiro one fucking bit, but I would go to the floor for his right to say it. Charlie Kirk was an abomination, but he had the right to be one. That's America. And they don't understand. Because they've lost what it is to be human. They've lost what it is to feel love, to feel fear. All they fear is greed. All they have inside is greed and hatred and vitriol. Their insides have turned to black oil. They have no love in their hearts. They have no compassion, no empathy. Our country was founded on those very things. Our Constitution is one of the most empathetic documents that there are. That's why they hate it. Our Constitution is one of the most inclusive and diverse documents. It even knew that it was wrong. The founders knew they were wrong about slaves and about black people. That's why they gave us the ability to change that document. It's like we would ask a man to wear still the coat which fitted him as a boy, as future generations to live under the tenets of their barbarous ancestors. Thomas Jefferson. He knew. He knew one day their way of life would be thought of as barbarous. He knew it. And he gave us the ability to change it. They don't get it. They don't understand. But more importantly, they don't care. They don't care. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about gay people. And he could care less about trans people. He'd probably let one blow him. That's how depraved he is. To hate something and yet have sex with it. He didn't care. He didn't care about you. He didn't care about me. He didn't care about his children. And he certainly doesn't care about this country. Because he doesn't care about the Constitution. The only thing he is sworn to protect and defend. Pam Bondi doesn't care about justice. She doesn't care about equity under the law. She doesn't care about truth. She's a hack. Shouldn't care. None of them do. They care about money, power, wealth. They care about the 7 deadly sins: pride, greed. So where does that leave us? Where does that leave us? That leaves us somewhere in the middle, trying to figure it all out. Each of us, wrapped up in our own little world until something comes along and shakes us out of it. Until something comes along and reminds us. You know, Catherine O'Hara was only 71 years old. She had colon cancer, and that caused a pulmonary embolus. All the money, all the power, didn't matter. Her family mattered. Her children mattered. That's what mattered to her. Not the Emmy, not her kids. And life. James Van Der Beek was so gorgeous, wasn't he? James Van Der Beek was one of the hottest fucking men around for a long time. And today at 46, he's gone. Gone. Because some cells in his body decided to just grow unchecked. And now he's gone. 46, James Van Der Beek, gone. We take life so for granted. We act like it's infinite, like we have all the time in the world to fix things. We mistreat people and don't apologize. We'll get to it. We let rifts grow and grow instead of trying to bridge them together. We put our dreams on hold, our aspirations and our goals, thinking we'll get to it one day. We allow ourselves to get swept up in so many moments that we forget to take the time to do what's important, like hug your dog, go for a walk, love yourself, have a spa day. We act like we're never going to die. And then all of a sudden something reminds us that today could be the day. Tomorrow could be the day. This is that moment for America. America is in the ER. It's been triaged and it's already in the back. And it's on life support. And America needs to realize that either it forgets all the bullshit and starts remembering what is real, or as a country, it dies. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't be about the 7 deadly sins and then also be about what the Constitution really stands for. You can't. So America has a choice to make. Do we continue? Do we continue with the hatred? Do we continue with the sadness and the grief and the division? Do we continue with all of that? Or do we finally get it right? I'm sorry for all the phone activity. My niece just arrived at the hospital room. They're doing an EEG on my sister. Why they didn't do a fucking EEG 5 hours earlier, 6 hours earlier, I don't know. But again, they didn't. But at least they're doing it now. So, we're here. Yeah, I gotta ask. This EEG should have been done at 10 a.m., at 9 a.m., at 8 a.m. But oh well. Maybe I'm just a bitch. You know? But I'm the bitch you want with you when you're in the hospital. I'll tell you that. I am the bitch you want bedside when you're sick. Because I'm the bitch that'll fight for you. I am the one that will try to keep you alive and comfortable and happy, or let you pass if that's what's required. I'm the one you want there. I wish America had a me. I wish America had a you. I mean, we're here, but we're not in power. I wish that our leaders realized that every American wants the same thing, a chance. And that sometimes they need help getting that chance. Look, there is no one in the entertainment industry more deserving of a bigger break than me. And maybe that's egotistical or whatever, but I'm a great entertainer. I work very hard. I'm the real deal.
Infinity.
You know, I am the very real deal. And I need help. I need someone larger in this business to give me a leg up. That's how America is supposed to be. We're supposed to be the leg up for each other. That's what government is supposed to be. Government is supposed to be the leg up to help equal the playing field, to make sure that this person doesn't have an unfair advantage over that person. That's what government is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the leg up to help you get educated, to be all that you can be. Here's public schools. Public schools that used to be the envy of the world and now are number 54. Healthcare is supposed to be that leg up. Okay, you're sick. Here we are with the greatest equipment and the greatest facility to help you get back on your feet. That's all of our systems are. The healthcare system is just to help. It should be called the help care system. Because when you need it, it is supposed to be there to help you. Not based on your income, not based on your race, not based on your sexual orientation. But because we can, because we have that knowledge, and we have that equipment, and we have that ability. That's what it's there for, to help us. Not some of us, all of us. The Department of Labor, the Department of Education, the Justice Department, the FBI, the DOJ, DHS, it's all there to give us that leg up that we need. Whether that's enforcing our laws to make sure that no one is harming us. How do we get it so wrong? Where did we just go so astray that we ended up here fighting over a Puerto Rican singing a song? So much fucking wasted energy over a Puerto Rican singing a song. How? How did we become a people that knows that the person sitting in the Oval Office is a sexual predator who's named more in these files than Christ is in the Bible, but he gets to go about his day like nothing's wrong? How did we become that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Are we done for the day? No, we have one more segment. Okay. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
So, I may be leaving for Arizona tonight or tomorrow morning. The problem is money. Southwest Airlines, it's $279 each way. That's $518 plus a hotel room for 3 or 4 days. It's $2,000. And $1,500 for Ember and $2,000 for my motorcycle. And I don't have it. I looked at Hertz Rent-A-Car. It's $540 to rent it for 4 days, 5 days. Plus gas, plus hotel. My sister's in a fucking hospital in Arizona, and I'm worried about, and I have $100,000 worth of credit. I mean, I can go, but when I get the bill, what am I supposed to do? You would think I could call Southwest Airlines. They have bereavement fare if she dies, but you could think I could call them and say, look, my sister's in the intensive care. I need to get there. You would think they'd have some kind of fare other than a dead fare, bereavement fare. A lot of good it does when she's dead. Sure, they'll give me a discount to fly to her funeral. But to just fly out to the hospital? Nah. Why don't hospitals have rooms for family members? Some do for the rich. So I'm sitting here thinking, I need to get to Arizona. And the other part of me is thinking, you don't have $2,500. Of course, the other part of me is thinking, if she dies or becomes a vegetable and I'm not there. So I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be here next week. I really don't know. I may just say fuck it and charge it and go. I don't know. And plus there's Ember. Her labs come back in the morning. We'll see if she's well enough to go. If it's just her triglycerides and she doesn't have pancreatitis or anything, then we'll go and we'll just adjust her food and, you know, and I don't know where I'll come up with the money. I'll charge it. I'll just put it on my American Express and call it a day. That's what they're for, right? Emergencies. Today was preachy. Today was emotional. But I think it's probably one of the better shows I've ever done. Because guess what? It spoke the truth. The truth about our country. It spoke about what we're supposed to be versus what we are. Look, I've had presidents I've hated before. George W. Bush comes to mind, and then his dad, ding dong, the witch is dead, good old Ronald Reagan. I haven't always loved a president, but I've never hated one as much as this one. Ever. Ever. I have never wanted to wake up every day and see an obituary more in my life. And that's the truth. And I don't like that. I don't like saying, well, he's 80 and he's sick. He's got to die soon. I don't like that. You know? My sister's in the hospital with a possible brain tumor. My dog might have hyperlipidemia. I don't want to wish ill health on anybody. My aorta's growing. It might be me in the hospital one day. But still, I wait for his obituary. Because of all the damage. And it's not just this one man is doing. It's people like Pam Bondi and Stephen Miller and Bannon and just all of them. And I keep waiting for the force for good to rise up and vanquish the evil, and it's not. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why there's not more good than bad being heard right now. I don't know why the obtuse and obscene arguments about Bad Bunny or protecting statutory rapist in the Epstein files, how is that even possible? How can actual seated lawmakers sit and protect the wealthy white men who raped young women? How can they even go to bed at night? Why isn't Donald Trump in front of the committee? Why? Why is Pam Bondi, who is supposed to be the Attorney General of the United States, not the Attorney General of Donald Trump? Donald Trump is not the United States. We, the people, are. She's our Attorney General, not his. And yet today she was part and parcel owned by Donald Trump. We were not on her mind. Justice for us, those victims who are American citizens, were not on her mind. And yet she's their Attorney General. Pam Bondi is supposed to be protecting the victims of the Epstein files, not the perpetrator. But all she did today was sit and defend the perpetrators. That's not her job. She's woefully mixed up. And yet, she's still got a job. Ain't none of them worrying about money. Ain't none of them Kash Patel flying around on a private plane with his girlfriend. If I were Kash Patel, I'd just take a private plane out to see my sister. You know? So here we are. Here we are. Oh, God. Well, I hope I'm here tomorrow. If I'm here tomorrow, it means that things have evened out in Arizona. No, I should go. I should go. God, I should go. My niece Infinity is there. She is not the best one to be there. Well, at least she's there, but I should be there. Maybe they don't want me there because I'm a terror. But I do know this. Last night on the pit, when that patient said, "Is this that moment? Is this the moment where I realize that most of what I value in my life and most of what I argue and fight for isn't worth a damn, and the only thing that matters is life and the people you love?" And Noah Wiley said, "Yep, this is that moment." I feel like I'm having that moment. And I feel like the country is too. Let's hope we come out of it and know what to do. And don't go back to being the same assholes that they are now. Hi, I'm Karel. Be who you want to be, so I'm going to hurt you, buddy. Check the YouTube channel to see if I'm going to be here tomorrow. If not, you know where I'll be. I'll be in Arizona with my sister.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Karel Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Karel Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Karel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Karel is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.